We're on for eggies. So good morning and welcome to the vlog. We're doing a vloggy vlog today. Like, the biggest question you guys ask me a lot of the time is, can I do more of these at once? Like, just daily vlogs. And I would actually love to do more of it because creatively it's really fun to do. Like, there's lots of different things you can do and you're kind of always thinking about it. And that's the thing, you're always thinking about it. And that's, when you're doing this type of stuff, what you tend to find is you're either talking to a camera like this, and you're kind of removing yourself, like, physically a bit and emotionally a bit from what's going on around you. And sometimes what you can be doing is a bit fake as well. And that's something that most people probably won't say, but it is. Like, you know, you might just have an argument with Elizabeth or Kira or something, and then the next minute you're like, oh, look at me, and it's not real. So yeah, there's a bit of all of that playing. So that's kind of why we don't do it much anymore. That said, we're going to do it today. We're going to have a bit of fun and yeah, a bit on. So let's get into it. Elizabeth will not feature in the vlog because she is... So I thought, you know, I'd put a camera in her face today. When we first had the kids, or they started eating, like, you'd make dinner for them, make food for them, make breakfast, whatever. And, like, you know, they leave the crusts or whatever it is, the butter-laden bread, and you eat it, right? And so all of a sudden you're eating 2 breakfasts or 2 dinners, and you don't count it, you don't notice it. So I actually put on a bit of weight, and you're like, why am I'm still eating healthily? Extra food. Beware the butter-laden toast that your kids leave around. Guys, you hopefully saw on Instagram we pledged our support to the Oz Cycling project. Look, if you don't know what Oz Cycling is, please go to their website and check it out. If you ride a bike and you live in Australia, it matters to you.
From our perspective, yeah, there are some unknowns here, specifically around the flow of funding and especially established funding. But what is clear is there is a framework and there's a clarity, and that's the sort of clarity that doesn't exist at the moment. So check out the link below. Research which way you feel and do lobby your clubs because the clubs have the vote here, guys.
Lobby your clubs whichever way you believe. Is it slightly concerning when your 5-year-old asks you, what was the question, Catherine?
What tag does a Porsche have?
What tag does a Porsche have?
Porsche?
Now, we not only don't own a Porsche, but I don't think there's anyone who lives anywhere near us who has one. And yet, she's asking about one. This is a possible recipe for disaster.
Alrighty, let's do some cycling, huh? But firstly, so the Oz Cycling sort of thing that I was talking about, one of the key sort of principles of that is to bring all of cycling under the one umbrella. That's like the recreational aspect, the elite racing and all that kind of thing. It's kind of got me thinking, okay? So the challenge I want to set today, Jessie and I really want to try and do a 3 or 4 hour training ride, but I want to try and do it on bike paths, okay? Now, as you guys know, Sydney gets a terrible rap for that infrastructure, how interconnected that infrastructure is. So this is going to be a big challenge. We'll go out on the bike, we're going to take the 360 camera, which is going to be a challenge in and out, and we'll see how we get on. Alright, we're going to get cracking, but just to set the scene, so we live in a west of Sydney, right? Balmain, East Leichhardt. It's the middle of the day on a Sunday, in spring, in Sydney. That's not a great time to ride your bike on a bike path. So we're going to take you on a little journey, have some fun along the way. We've got some other talking points as well. Until then, let's head west. So what we want to do today, guys, is pretty much link these 7 cycleways into some sort of training ride, some sort of 3 or 4 hour training ride that includes all of them and is a loop. Now, many of you will know Sydney Olympic Park. It's very self-contained, it's pretty quiet, but the problem out there is it really doesn't go anywhere in particular. The M4 is far more interesting. It takes you places, but of course WestConnex had a big impact here and there's a whole redevelopment underneath the road of the cycle path. Prospect Dam is a hidden gem. It's an absolutely fantastic run out there. It flows along really quickly, can definitely get some training benefit on that particular path.
Welcome to Prospect Dam, ladies and gentlemen. Prospect Dam cycle path. Oh, kangaroos. Kangaroos in Sydney. We've been trundling out here on the bike path and we were kind of thinking like, you know, it's all very disconnected and that's completely true, but there is definitely a way to kind of make this work from a training perspective, from an actual getting some benefit out of it. I think the first one is obviously got to plan the ride. Like, you can't follow the signs in Sydney on a bike path. They're completely meaningless and they tend to send you down dead ends, brick walls. They just don't work. Be aware there's going to be some trial and error. Use the Garmin, use the Wahoo.
Another hidden gem is the Western Sydney Regional Park. Fantastic. Again, the problem out there though is it's self-contained, so you really are in there for the whole time.
Okay, you're trying to get a training benefit from this, so the point of that is to try and keep moving, to keep flowing. But you have to stop. You just have to accept the fact that at certain points on a bike ride, on bike paths around Sydney, you're going to be stopping. Just deal with it. There's a way of being discreet about continuing to move. And that does not mean blasting through red lights. It means sometimes, if there's a little giveaway or something, be aware, be conscious, and just try and keep your feet on the pedals. Maybe use your brakes and the pedals. That can kind of work.
The M7, the gold standard of cycle paths here in Sydney, the perfect example of when a road was built and cycleways were actually considered.
I'd go, would you say the best off-road path in Sydney?
Oh, head and shoulders
Yeah.
above anything else.
But of course the
They
problem,
just don't link it up to
that's it.
anything.
For us it's like, how do you get here and then how do you get home? Jesse Coyle is like way too cheap to ever buy real sunglasses, so these are fake. Who wore them better?
Those look up.
Okay, product review. Welcome to product review on the Suntro Folkleys from where?
AliExpress.
AliExpress.
Random.
Initial wear test. Well, looks. I think they look alright. Lens, shite. No vision into the shadows. Price, however, was
$26.
yeah. Okay, they're very good. $26. I highly recommend these. Get on board. Water bottle. Give me my real ones back.
Just like the way out, the way back is the real challenge. So we come back via the Parramatta River Trail and the Bay Run. The River Trail itself, look, it's a beautiful run, but it's just very, very busy. Speaking of busy, the Bay Run, well, you really want to have your wits about you riding along there.
Hopefully some of that recorded.
This is what I'm dealing with. That was alright. What do you think? Like, how much have you know? Like, what's your numbers there?
220 normalised, but we weren't really. Yeah, we weren't.
We were
pushing
vlogging. My sort of thing for these things is there's no stress. It's like you're not fighting with
Yeah,
anything.
you're not looking back for cars. And you know you're going to get a decent run. I like it. Good option, I think. Good Sunday option.
Now, this evening I'm cooking and I'm going to bring you along. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? I've got some big food goss for you actually. Coming. I was going to do a whole dedicated vlog to it and I still will. Yeah, I've got some interesting food chat for you. Tofu stir fry. Tofu. Stir fry. I reckon the trick to a little bit of tofu stir fry is cook the tofu separately. Initially, because it gets a little bit fried. You on board?
I don't hear any of that. I'm deaf, remember?
We may need a bit of that, I would suggest.
So we ask our kids what they want for dinner. Did that happen? Did we used to do that? Like when we were kids, weren't we just given what was for dinner as opposed to, would you like this or this or this? Tonight we're having this. And now it's like we're asking them, what would you like? And what the outcome of that is one of them's having a toasted cheese sandwich and the other is having friggin' fried rice. Veggies are in, cocoa is out. Keep the flavours pretty simple, just a bit of soy, a bit of garlic, and a little bit of chilli. Mum isn't massive on spices and things, so what I'll tend to do is just run a bit of sriracha, so do with everything.
Why do I need the eye spotter?
Well, because like a camera does this thing where it focuses on, you're in front of it with an eye like that, it focuses on it. What do you think?
Okay, what do I say? Well, I am going to do Lego after I do this.
Oh, what are you going to build in your Lego?
A princess tower.
Oh. Good night. Good night. Maybe an awkward household, I would have thought. Awkward household?
Remember that vlog you did with the tyre review?
Yeah, gone.
Just got that on in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
No tyre leaks.
Maybe I just have no upper body strength.